pieced me. I was like, "Hi, I'm Callie. I'm from Norman," and they were all like, "No,
yeah, they're like, that is not the way.
Get
Not
out.
the way of the Catholics.
That's so funny.
That is-
All right, y'all. We ready?
I think so.
Coco and Darla are back with Love at First Song. We have Ken Pomeroy here
Hello.
for our next episode, and we are super excited to get her story out there and share some songs with you guys. So, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Ken?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I definitely could not sing, like, at all. I would always sing in the shower, and my sister would be like, who's killing the cat? Who is killing the cat? And so I would sing my heart out and do my thing, and then I had a surgery. I had my tonsils taken out, my adenoids removed, and I had a nasal surgery where they made my nostrils larger because I couldn't breathe. Mm-hmm. So then no one thought anything about it, and then I had a solo in 3rd grade, and I came home. My dad was like, "Why do you have a solo?" We're so excited, but oh no.
But I'm not stretching cats for the talent show. Like,
no.
why are we?
Yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal? What's going on? So I perform, and I could sing, and everyone was like,
Where did that
what
come
just
from?
happened? What happened? And then just maybe a year ago, pretty recently, I decided that it was probably the surgery that helped me out. So then I went to Catholic school for a long time.
Chloe, my daughter did. Yeah, for 5 years.
I went to All Saints for I think 8 years.
That's where Chloe went.
What?
My
What's
daughter,
her name?
Well, Chloe Habakkuk. She's 17 right now. How? Wonder if you guys were there at the same time. What years did you go?
So I went 3rd grade to 8th grade.
Chloe was there 2nd through 5th. You guys had to be there the same year. She's 17. What grade are you in right now?
I'm 16, so I'm a sophomore.
Yeah, you guys were
That
there
is
at the same
crazy.
time.
I
It
think.
is.
Oh my gosh.
This happens
So were you
every
Catholic
single
at all?
Okay,
before you
no,
went?
no.
Neither was Chloe.
No.
Side note, funny
Yeah.
story. So she goes to Catholic school and goes to Mass, and I'm like, well, how'd it go? Because, we grew up Southern Baptist, no clue. And I'm like, so how'd Mass go? And she goes, I go, what was that? What'd you do at the end right there? She goes, that's what Nacho Libre does. Oh, that's so funny.
That is so crazy. Oh my
What a
gosh.
small world. I bet you
Yeah.
guys know each other.
I bet so. If I see her, I'll definitely know her. I'm
Yeah.
a face person, but
That's so awesome.
my dad was always in a band. He always was in he was in a hard rock band for a really long time called Blackberry Jam.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. I went to a lot of their gigs, and then he did a side thing with a guy named Henry, and he was always music has always been really instrumental in my life and has always just been there. I got my baritone ukulele, which is the bottom 4 strings of a guitar, so it would kind of lead me into the whole situation I'm in now. And so I learned the ukulele, and I wrote songs, but they weren't songs. They were just kind of songs that a 10-year-old would write.
Yes.
And
But being 10 and writing songs it speaks for itself.
it's a stepping stone,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
it's a
not
stepping
lot of
stone.
10-year-olds are writing songs.
Yeah.
With
and
ukuleles.
yeah. And so then I just really dove deep into YouTube and just watched so many old recordings of James Taylor and all John Denver is seriously my first love to go into music. I had a CD that just played Jet Plane on a loop 18 times, just over and over, so I could go to
really?
sleep tonight. Yeah.
So you think that
That's
was one of
awesome.
the defining moments of I'm in love.
Definitely.
With this.
Yeah, it was John Denver and his talents for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aww.
I love that.
Because that's not what most younger people would navigate towards.
Mhm.
If they say, okay, I'm gonna hop on YouTube, they're gonna look up top hits or
Cardi B.
Yeah.
they're gonna look up things like that. Or even still more in the time right now music. So for you to even navigate towards that already shows that you had some sort of maturity. With
And that was definitely a
musical
lot
tastes.
of my family. They were really into older music, and just all the time would be playing in the house. We always have music playing in the house, and it would always be like John Denver or some kind of 80s music or something like that, like Bread and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I love Bread so much, so much. Air Supply, all of that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, was there a moment that you thought, okay, I've got this writing thing down, and like you dove into that, really wanting to sit down and try to create your own craft? Because a lot of people will just, I'm going to learn guitar, learn to play with stuff.
Yeah,
right.
There wasn't much space between when you, let's say you started your YouTube adventure and kind of exploring, and when you put your first record out, really. If you think about it in a year's time, there wasn't a lot between that.
There really wasn't, but there was a lot happening, like, in my life at the time. There was a lot of pretty awful things that were just going on, and that was the only way I could, like, express how I was feeling at the time, just because I was young and didn't know how to, like, well, this is my only outlet, so I just took advantage of that, and
So what were some of the first things, like, that you wrote on? Like, if you don't mind.
No,
like,
yeah,
sharing
for sure.
Some of those things.
So, my birth mother, she was in my life for, a long time. She was like, I would go back and forth to my dad and that whole thing, and that was just how it was, because my parents never got married. So, she was just not very, like, supportive of music or anything like that, so I wrote Be There about that. So, that was on the newer record, but I wrote that previously to all of the new record and everything. But
Coco's already crying.
No, do not cry. It's
I always have good cries. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Your stories touch my heart, and I think that's what makes people resonate with your music, when you talk about the real hard stuff that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
I appreciate that.
Kudos to you for having the balls to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're not writing songs like, hey, I just met you, here's my number.
This is crazy, yeah.
You're writing songs from a much higher maturity level than a lot of artists that are way older than you are writing. So that's a big deal. I mean, to be your age and writing records that can stand with people that have 10 or 20 years on you is a big deal. And a lot of people, they may be able to write songs, but they can't tap into what's going on in their life and put it on paper. So that's a big skill that's probably just naturally.
Well, thank you.
And
thank
that's
you.
Awesome. Yeah.
I have to tell you, the first time that Darla made me sit down and listen, I had to take a minute, because it was like this old soul of a 6-year-old woman who had gone through life, and not only in your lyrics, but just your delivery and your tone. It grabbed me.
Thank you so much.
God, I love this chick.
No, thank you. And what's so funny that you just said old soul is I have been hearing, like, oh my gosh, you're such an old soul, like, my whole life. It was just, I never knew how to take it. Like, I was like,
at first,
well,
it's like, what?
Yeah, like,
fine.
Yeah, okay. But
I'm not hip then.
Yeah, clearly I've taken it, like, as a compliment now, and I actually wrote a song about it recently that I'll be performing today. So
Yay!
yeah.
Oh, we love new ones. So this one isn't out.
No, it's not. So my goal is to try to release a record each year. Like, every year of my life, just release a record.
That's a big goal, because some people take like 4 years to put one record
out. Yeah, and that's
a lot.
And what's really cool too is both my records took a week. Like, I recorded my first one in like a really fancy studio. It's Steve Bose's studio, and we did that in like 4 days, and took a day off for Halloween, because that's bad luck. So
no, that's insane. That doesn't happen very often.
And we did the same with the new one. We did it in Kyle Reid's Naptime studio and did it in like 4 or 5 days.
He's
so
such
you're
a cool
just pretty
dude.
much the bad.
Shout out to Kyle Reid.
He's cool amazing. Dude. Amazing.
I mean, Can
I be you when I grow up?
So let's talk about some highlights so far, because obviously you've accomplished a lot in a very short time, and have played with a lot of musicians that many haven't. So let's get there, where you're at right now, and what is really encouraging you to keep doing this thing. So you did Mile Zero Fest twice.
Yes.
You've got the Oklahoma Room tonight.
I'm very excited about that. Like, I performed with Byron Berline's band, and that was amazing. And
oh wait, just interjection here. did you say that you opened up for Wanda Jackson?
I did open up for Wanda Jackson.
Wanda Jackson hooked up with Elvis, so let's just go ahead and get that out. And she's amazing.
Yeah. So
can we side note on that?
Oh my gosh,
yes. Tell me about
oh my gosh. So that I forget about that. Oh my gosh. So this moment was the weirdest and most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. So I'm at the Oklahoma Opry, and so I'm backstage with Wanda Jackson, and she's like just telling me all these crazy stories about how she had to go through a window in Poland to get to her show, like all these crazy things. And I was just like, what in the world? Like, and then she gave me the number to her seamstress because I wore like a nudie suit that my mom had made, and it was like all bedazzled and everything. It's beautiful. And she was like, props to you, because here's my seamstress number. And I was like,
Wanda gave you her seamstress?
Yes, fringe jackets for days.
What?
Yes, and so
we gotta get that number before we leave.
Oh, definitely. And so I'm on stage and I perform, and I go back there, and she's like, shook my hand and everything, and then I got to sing harmony with her. And so I sang harmony with her in all of her songs, and when she walked off, she slapped my butt and was like, good job, Ken. And I was like, all right, well, thanks, Wanda. Yes. Yes. So that's written down in the
career
books.
highlight right there.
That is, man.
Yeah, it's
Wanda
so fun.
Jackson thinks you're cool, then that's just got to give you like enough.
Yeah,
Between her and your boot collection, I don't know what makes you cooler, but
thank you. Yeah, I like boots.
No,
I like boots
all
a
you
lot.
little twerps that are 16-year-olds and get your life right, like Ken. Okay, like this is what we're bringing to you.
get it together. Okay, so
I performed with Stoney LaRue and his brother at the Jimmy LaFave Songwriting Contest thing, which I won that contest for the Sidewalk Song, but since I won, I got to perform with Stoney and Bo Phillips, and that was crazy because we went on the tour bus. Funny story. So
I would like to hear that.
Yeah, so they're like, oh my gosh, you get to go on the tour bus, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
sure.
I go up there, and this bus is like beautiful, huge, whatever. And so I walk in there, and his manager hands me a guitar, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty, like, okay.
Like,
it's like, we want you to play a song. And I was like, oh, all right. So I sit down and play a song and do my thing, and then we're walking off, and Bo says, well, talking to my dad, and says, well, if she starts to suck, we'll just kick her off stage. And I said ditto. Like, it just came out, and I said ditto. And then that has been like the memory that Stoney LaRue just remembers.
And they should, because no other person is going to say that. So, mad props for you.
So that was fun. Really nice people. Normally, like, I always am a little skeptical. Like, famous people are kind of uppity sometimes, and I was like, well, this might be a drag, so gotta keep an open mind. But Stoney is so nice, like, super nice. Bo Phillips is hilarious, super nice. Stoney LaRue was at Mile Zero Fest this year, and we got to hang out. Yeah.
Aww.
So.
And you got to meet Tyler Childers.
Oh,
let's talk about
my gosh.
that, because
okay.
I'm a mega fan.
Oh, you're serious? She's like,
yeah, no. So when I found out he was playing Mile Zero Fest, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so fun. And he was literally, him and Todd Snyder were the main reason why I was there. I sing at this breakfast thing that Casey Cobb and Raina put on at the hotel, and I sing there with Nikki James. He's a Nashville guy, and we're just kind of doing song swaps with different people. And all of Tyler Childers' like band and like his guys were there, which I didn't know. And so
which was probably a blessing.
Yes. Yes. And so later that night was his show. Was Tyler's show, and I am like so blinded by like just excitement.
Right.
I could not deal. And I go to sign the guitars at the Mile Zero Fest, and here comes Tyler Childers signing the guitars in front of me, and I was just like, okay. And I'm signing the guitars, like not knowing what to say, and my dad is behind me, and he's like, come on. And so he's like, hey, Tyler, like, nice to meet you, whatever, is my daughter. And he's like, Ken Pomeroy. And I was like, okay, so you know my name. All right.
Girl.
So I like played it cool. I was like, hey Tyler, nice to meet you. How's it going, man? And inside I was just like dying.
And just put it out there, him and his wife are couples gold.
Oh, they're adorable. Oh my gosh.
They're perfect. She like whittles wood and
they're the most mountainous couple I've ever seen.
Shout out to Sonora and Tyler.
Yes. Ugh. But yeah, that was amazing.
That's like the surreal moments. Like, I mean, you're opening for Wanda Jackson, you're playing with Stoney LaRue, you're meeting Tyler Childers, signing guitars, playing at the same festival. Now, tonight, this episode will be released after this, so we can't promote it. But tonight of this episode, she's going to play the Oklahoma Room with, I mean, she's in the runs with people like Jacob Tovar, Paul Benjamin, Wink Burcham's there. Is Carter's
playing,
gonna be there. There's, I mean, Jared Tyler, you're playing with him.
He's playing
so
with me.
it's just incredible, and you don't get there without having the skill that requires to be there, because those are extremely established people.
Absolutely. And some of which I didn't even like realize how they're just really quiet about. They're humble, very humble people. They don't try to like, oh la da da da, and it's just, it's crazy. We'll be sitting down before a gig eating dinner and they just tell stories, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, where do you come from?
Right.
And that happened a few times with Jared Tyler. He's amazing person, so sweet, and I'm really looking forward to play with him again tonight.
So tell me this, do you have a favorite moment, like a hangout moment with an artist, even a funny moment, maybe a recording, a harmony moment, or something that just sticks out to you like, love what I do? I know you probably have a bunch, but is there any of them that just stand out, or that was at the very beginning?
Well, okay.
And you can give me 2 or 3.
Yeah. So during the recording of my second record, there was Jason Scott. I don't know if you guys know, but he's so awesome. Jason Scott, Kyle Reid and Johnny Carlton, which is his bass player for his band, and we play quite often, but he was living with Kyle, and it's this house, and it's also a studio, but it's John Calvin Abney, Johnny Carlton, and Kyle Reid in the same house. Yeah, so we're all recording, and just mainly the vibe and like this, the casualty, like it's just like so casual, but yet so important, and everybody realizes that. And the inside jokes, so many inside jokes, and it's just so awesome. So it's difficult sometimes just to connect without the kind of awkwardness, but I rarely find that with like musicians that are actually my friends.
Yeah, I think that especially in the world of music, age really doesn't play into deciding like who's going to connect and who's going to collaborate, because if you carry yourself in a certain way, you're going to gain that respect, and I think that's something you've done for yourself. I mean, you were like slinging tunes with Kyle Reid when you were what, like 13, 14?
Yes.
Right,
which is
in here.
insane.
Yes.
Right inside your dad's.
Like, just, that's crazy. So you've had this time and you've put yourself out there to establish that to where it really wouldn't feel like they're a decade older than you, you know?
Plus, you just give off such a positive, sweet vibe.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
I think people
So
pick up on
precious.
that, and that makes it a lot easier. I know. Yeah, Coco has a moment every show, so.
If you're homeless, she will help you.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
You have a servant heart.
Thank
do,
you.
And I love that about you. I
It
think
goes
that's
a long
amazing.
way. I think we were talking about this with Cameron Gillespie on the last recording that we did, and he was saying, you know, when I first started doing videography, I couldn't think that I was hot shit. You know, I had to come out recognizing that there were people better than me and that I get to learn from them and grow. And I think that's how you keep going further, and you're the same way. You just, as long as you stay humble and you recognize and appreciate what you get to be a part of, then opportunities are endless, which leads us into the next portion. So you're here, you're playing incredible venues with wonderful people. You're going to try to put out a record every single year.
Yes.
That's going to be a huge accomplishment. I have no doubt that you'll be able to do that. Moving forward, maybe 3 years, 5 years, what do you see yourself doing? You know?
Well, I honestly have no idea, and I think about this quite often. Just, well, everyone's like, oh, well, I can say I knew you when, and I never knew what that meant, but clearly it's apparent now that everyone thinks that I'm going to be famous, but I just don't know. Like, I don't know, that's not in my plan, but I mean, if it happens, it happens, but I mainly want to remain happy with what I'm doing, because right now, I'm happy playing music with other musicians, and I'm happy playing music with my friends, and just writing songs that are actually real. I never want to get to the point where it's like purposely having someone else write my songs, and never like just kind of the fake side of music. I don't ever want to get to that point.
To make
losing the whole passion part of it to go for the fame and
exactly.
the music. I think that you're there, and that's a great thing, because a lot of people get caught up in we're going to be famous, and then they become, their whole sound changes, and I don't feel like they're true to who they are, and I think you got a good head on your shoulders, kid.
Thank you.
You do.
You really do.
So let me ask you this, just to kind of reframe the question. What are the moments or the elements of what you're doing that are going to keep you pushing forward, regardless of what it becomes? What are those little things that you're like, I can't trade this for anything else?
Well, one thing that really made me just promise myself never to stop playing music is I played at the Tom Skinner Skyline Festival. It was all in memory of Tom, and I really hadn't, I mean, I've obviously heard of Tom Skinner, but I hadn't dove into his music, and I wanted to perform a song of his and at the festival, and I played with Carter, and I found a song, and I played this Light of This World, and that's a beautiful song, and just the whole vibe of the festival was amazing, and I was the only person that had never met Tom there and played a song of his, so that was really cool. Also, after the show, I played a song that no one else played, and I didn't realize how, like, not unpopular, but not as well recognized as the others, and so I unknowingly played this song that not a lot of people knew, and this man came after the show, and I was just sitting at this table watching John Fullbright, who I just played, which is amazing. I'm actually opening for him February 22nd. At the church in Perkins. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys should definitely go. Yes.
Somehow, some way.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
God damn.
Hope he breaks out the accordion.
Yes, he's so good. But he had just played, and this man comes up and he starts crying and telling me that he sometimes gets numb to music, like it's not super important. It doesn't touch him. And he said that my set touched him. And I said, well, thank you so much. Like, it was just amazing. And I was like, what's your name? He was like, I'm Tom Skinner's son. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
That was crazy. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. And that was, that was the moment I just decided it's my job. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Do you have plans for the next record? I mean, it'll be sometime.
I'm not sure the time yet. I really
don't put a time stipulation.
Don't put a time
definitely a record. No, definitely not.
Sometime next year, everybody.
Yes. Actually, this year. Well, since it's 2019. So.
That's right. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So do I. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, we are too. And I suppose February 22nd?
Yes.
With John Fullbright?
Yes. I'm going to have Kyle Reid and Johnny Carlton come up there and play with me, a band.
That's going to be incredible. Okay, we're going to get the details on that, and we'll share it in this little screen here. And hopefully people can make it out.
Yes, that'd be so awesome.
Okay, well, she is going to play some songs for us. Right?
It's true.
You're going to do two?
Yes.
Which two are you
playing? I'm going to...
backstory behind those.
Absolutely. I'm going to play Hallways first, which is the title track of my newest record. And that song is just kind of... I feel like this whole new record is just a journey through from the first record till now. Just in my life, just kind of literally a hallway through the journey I've taken. And so I'm going to be playing that song first, and then the newest song, Old Soul. So I wrote that, I think, a week or two ago, so it's fairly new.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is exciting. Okay. Well, we're just going to cut straight to it. We'll be back in a minute so we can get your stuff set up. Thanks, Ken.
Of course. Thank you guys so much.
I walk through the hallways of my memories. Good and the bad, I think I'm seeing things. I see my reflection in the things that I've done. I can't take back the moons that I've hung. And I know, oh, I'm sketching the words of what people do. And I know I can make it through the hallways of you.